your props today. If you've got a couple of block substitutes, a blanket, you may want to bolster for a little later on during our practice. So please come to any seat that will be comfortable for you. It does not have to be on the floor. Could be in a chair. Balance balls are great. And maybe you want some props underneath the knees, underneath the thighs. So we'll take a few moments to arrive. Take a deep inhale, letting it go. Just taking this time to observe the breath. Observe how the body is feeling, and perhaps your energy level. And we may, with palms face up, start to bring movement into the fingers. And then letting the hands rest. So I'm going to mirror directionally. Find your left earlobe and invite left ear towards left shoulder. Just take a moment, tipping in. Maybe there's a very gentle nod of the head. And then we'll take the opposite hand, so perhaps your right hand. Find your collarbones. And without a lot of pressure, just slide the hand down below the collarbones. Let the eyes rest. Feeling breath and body. And we may be noticing the heat, the connection. We can always adjust the head. The chin may tilt in a little closer to the chest. We may place that left hand on top of the right. And perhaps we just create the action of dropping the hands down a little lower. We're not really going anywhere. And then taking left hand to the left cheek, supporting the head back to center. Consider turning nose tip towards the left and maybe placing left hand on that left side of the neck. And that might be perfect. We may just place the hand, breathing. We might explore a little bit of self-massage, inviting the head back to center. Let the body sigh so we can do our own vibrational sound healing. We might find a little rock, a little shift side to side. I guess it's going to be a parade of the two cats back and forth. And we'll let the crown of the head rise. And then we'll find that second ear. Second ear tilting towards its shoulder. Take your time. Maybe this side is feeling different. We don't want to just go on automatic pilot. Let the body breathe. And maybe this side is asking for something different. Maybe it's saying, hey, can you check out the neck with the hand? Maybe we need a placement or a little bit of self-care. And we might be placing that left hand just below the collarbones. Feeling that connection, the temperature exchange, and we may place right hand on top of left. And just add a bit of a drawing down motion. And see how that changes the stretch sensation for you. And we may take right hand to the cheek and support the head back to center, letting the nose tip turn to the right. Breathing, and perhaps we're taking the hand to the side of the neck. And again, it may just be placement, resting the eyes, feeling that connection. Maybe we're exploring some tension this side of the neck. We might take it to the top of the shoulder, very gently guiding the chin to the middle. And we may roll one shoulder and then the other, alternating. The body may find a little drift, a little shift side to side. And let's pause and go the other way. Maybe you've been sitting at the laptop at a desk for a while. We might be feeling a little stiff in the body. Maybe we've been in the head for hours. And we may just take a moment to wobble up. Let the crown of the head move high. Feel the lungs, the ribs shape shift with the inhale. and the exhale. Breathing at your own pace. We might find a couple of props and consider a forward lean. You can stay up pretty high. You can lean on the balance ball, the seat of a chair. We may just lean on some blocks and support the brow. We may squeegee the brow. And then let's bring ourselves back up. Rock on back, extend the legs, give a little wiggle through those knees. And we might go for a little knee self-massage. Claw-like fingers around the knees, circling. And then trading across the legs. Rocking, sits bones back. Let's spin both palms forward, invite the arms high. As we exhale, rotating, turn twist towards your right. The chin could tip closer to the chest. We might even round the back moderately. Let's find an inhale to move back up through the middle. And as we exhale, rotating, twisting, second side. Inhale, we'll make our way back through the middle, thumbs to forehead, thumbs to heart. Releasing the hands, we'll find that left ear again, left ear moving towards left shoulder, right hand just below the collarbones. Option to stay here. Now we might slide that right arm out. We may spin the palm to face forward and have movement in the digits. So this might be super intense and you can back it off. Maybe we're feeling a little more exploratory and we start to spiral or rotate the wrist, rotate the forearm, twirl the fingers. What feels right for you? You're listening to your neck, forearm, wrist. And then we'll gather back in, perhaps support the head back towards center. We may turn the head back to the left, exploring that self-massage, side of the neck, maybe across the top of the shoulder. We might walk the fingers down the side of the neck. We may walk the fingers down and around that upper shoulder. And maybe that right wrist or left wrist wants a little attention. The hand that was just doing the self-massaging. So we might just take a moment, twirl that wrist. Second side ear. So perhaps this really is your right ear leaning towards the shoulder. Left hand just below the collarbones. And we can stay with that. And again, we'll try not to be on automatic pilot. We know where we're going, but the side might have some different needs. Maybe we're extending that arm. Maybe we're putting it right back on the chest. We may have movement through the fingers. Perhaps we dial, rotate through the wrist, through the forearm, swirling fingers. Make sure that you can feel the breath, that we're not tensing in anticipation, and holding the breath. And eventually gathering back in and perhaps supporting the cheek, crown of the head high, and turning nose tip back to the right. And we might self-massage, walk the fingers down the side of the neck. You might prefer the back of the neck, maybe coming across the shoulder. We'll bring the head back to center and we might twirl that wrist, that hand that was just doing the self-massage. We might take both shoulders, finding movement through shoulders, go the other way. And let's rock on back again, extending the legs, reaching out through each leg. And perhaps we lean a little side to side, tipping weight towards one cheek and then the other. And we may find those knees again, self-massaging around the knees. And as we draw the knees in, let's think about how much padding we have on the floor and how much we might want. So if your floor is very hard, maybe you're unfolding your blanket, or if the blanket is just kind of a little too puffy in the middle of your mat, this one might be. You may just want to open it up, and you might want a couple of blocks within easy reach. Maybe one on the right side, one on the left side. So let's bring ourselves onto the back body. Give yourself a moment to arrive. And while it's tempting to turn the head to see the device screen, the invitation is to keep the nose tip pointing straight up overhead. So hands may rest on the belly. Feel the belly rise and sink. And then let the toes rise, fan, and release. Tipping tailbone down towards the floor. Keep breathing. We're just feeling for that action of a lift of the low back away from the ground. Now, possibly we're creating a very subtle rock of the hips, side to side, with the tailbone tilting down. Now, if you do happen to be watching the screen, I'm talking with my hands, as I'm prone to doing. You do not have to do this with your hands. I'm just mimicking the action of the hips. And the hip action is nowhere near as large. So this could be a very subtle range of motion with the hips. And then pause, stop with the rocking and start to curl the tailbone moderately towards your ceiling. So we're feeling that low back flatten, get closer to the ground. Think about your toes lift, fanning, and then curling and pulling your heels a little further forward. So like inchworms. And then tuck the toes and push the heels back just a little bit. Lift, fan the toes, and release. Let the hands release down by the hips. So we may give the index fingers a little tap. And as you inhale, let the arms, the index fingers and the arms rise up towards the ceiling. And as you exhale, sweeping the heels of the hands back down towards the ground. Fan the fingers really wide, and we might imagine that we have kind of like silky, stretchy cobwebs attached to each fingerprint. Let's tent the palms of the hands like suction cups away from the ground, and then start to pull your fingerprint webs up towards the ceiling. And maybe we're going a little overhead as well. Maybe I'll pull a lot overhead depending on your shoulders. Pressing up through the heels of the hands. The hands are going the other way. We're sweeping the hands down, kind of like you're smearing paint down a wall with the heels of your hands, which land first, then your fingerprints. Let's tent the fingers, pull your cobweb fingerprints up, overhead, maybe a little wide. Keep breathing, press up through the heels of your hands. Let the heels of the hands gradually come on down, landing. Let's give a wobble, rocking that right thigh into the chest. So the sole of the right foot is off the ground. And let's just take a moment, dust the sole of the foot, just in case there's any floor debris. Raise that right leg up in the air, push up through the heel, point up through the toe, going back and forth. Heel, toe. Let's swirl the ankle while we're here. Swirl the other way. Rebending, landing. Invite both knees to tip in. So the heels may need to rise and turn out. The hands may land on the belly. Let the body sigh. Perhaps we're noticing the after effects of the movement within. Heel toeing, feet back towards that kind of home or neutralish position where we may seesaw the feet. And again, I'm talking with my hands, but we're just rocking from the ball mounds of the feet back to the heels, back and forth, and then land and lift your right toes and your left heel and swap. So we are not seesawing exactly the same on each foot, they're alternating, and then land. Let's rock that left thigh into the chest. Get that little wobble through the hips. We may dust off that left foot just for good measure. Let the leg rise. Flex, point, push up through the heel, point through the toes. Maybe we're noticing the stretch across the top of the foot. Really savor the sensations. Front of the foot, back of the lower leg. Start to rotate the ankle. Rotate second direction. Are you breathing? And eventually bending the knee and letting that foot come back to earth. Heel, toe, land with heels out, knees tipping in. Let the body fully breathe. We may be sighing. Heel, toe, feet together. Reach out, and if you've got a couple of props, just have them handy, perhaps one in each hand. Let your knees start to drop out to the side. So we'll all be a little different in those inner thighs. Maybe you want your props higher and down by the knees. Maybe you want them a little lower and up closer to the hips. Taking a few moments. Let the body sigh as we breathe. And then can you heel toe the feet a little closer together? So yes, this is the soles of the feet that are touching. And then we may start to press the knees in towards one another. We're only going as far as we can right now while keeping the soles of the feet connected. And then very, very gently let the knees drop back down to the support of the props. Now, some blocks are harder than others. So if the edges of your blocks need to be rearranged for greater comfort, please do that. Or maybe you're covering your block with towels for greater comfort. Let's heel toe snugly. Feel the soles of the feet connected. We're starting to draw those inner knees, let's say up. They're not going to come and touch right now. Just moving up towards the ceiling. Maybe we're feeling some engagement around the sacrum. And then slowly, slowly let those knees separate, supported by the props. On the little toe sides of the feet, heel toe the feet wider until you feel comfortable rolling the knees back up towards the ceiling. Seesaw, seesaw, and heel toe the feet back in. Rock both knees into the chest, drawing a figure 8 on your low back. Little rock side to side. And then take a moment and hold the knees. Draw the toes towards the knees and slowly, slowly roll the heels back down to the ground. The heels land, the toes fan. Start to press down into the soles of the feet, letting the hips rise up partway. And then gradually, gradually, gradually lowering back down to the ground. We might reach out, find your block, and tuck it between your inner thighs. You might have to step your heels in a little closer to the hips. Fan the toes. Feel the hips rise. Feel the arms rise. We're pulling those cobweb fingers overhead. Fan the toes and slowly rolling back down the back body. So let's do that again. Lift, fan the toes, release them. Let the hips rise, let the arms rise. And slowly, slowly rolling back down to the ground. Let's slide the block out from between the thighs. And again, invite both knees into the chest. We may take the arms overhead. We may draw figure 8s with the hips. Let the body sigh as we find stillness, keeping the feet perhaps off the ground. So let's check in with the neck and head. If we're a little tighter in the back body, maybe we need a cushion, some support under the neck and head. We want the head supported. So it could be on the floor, you could use a pillow. We may take our hands onto our knees, or we might tuck our hands into the knee pits. If you're feeling more open, start to open the knees and slide the hands down the inner legs. So in a full happy baby, we're often holding the feet or using a strap. Today, instead, grab whatever you can, maybe the knees, maybe the thighs, we might grab the ankles, and we're keeping the soles of the feet pointing in. They do not need to touch like they were just touching on the ground. The feet can be wide. We might have some dull, achy stretch sensation in one or both inner thighs. And just like we were talking about, making sure the head, the neck, have that support, that we're not curling up. What's happening with the hips and tailbone? Sometimes that is where we're rolling up off the ground. And you are welcome to fold up a blanket or your mat to create a wedge under the hips, building the floor up underneath a possibly hovering low back. Let's slowly bring the soles of the feet back to the ground. Lift, fan the toes. Let the hips hover and slide the hips over to the left. Extend that right leg, lowering down on the little toe side of the right foot. Raise the right arm overhead. Press off that left foot. Let's slowly roll onto right side body. Now we may bend and extend that top leg, which may be your left leg. We may extend the leg, hover, and gradually roll down onto the belly. Be careful of your props. Feel free to stay where you are or scoot back onto your mat if you rolled off it like I always do. We might tuck our toes, doing a little push-pull, kind of a walk on the toe tips as we scoot forward on the mat. We may then point the toes, press down into the forearms, and start to lift the ribs and the pelvis back up towards the ceiling. The chin may tuck towards the chest. Let's slowly lengthen forward. Ribs are back down to the ground. We're definitely still breathing. We're not holding the breath. And then hovering the ribs, hovering the hips. So the knees can stay down, but the hips might be lifting right up off the ground. And let's slowly lengthen forward again. Find that breath. We may walk the elbows a little further forward and lean right. We might grab a ball or a block, folded blanket, and rest that right side of the jaw on the prop as we breathe. Breathing into front body, left side body. If you love the knee bend, we may bend the left knee, the long side knee. And that lower leg may sway. It may circle. And releasing that leg down. Let's find our way back to the middle, perhaps tucking those left toes, ratchet the heel a little further back. Find that tip lean, just a little bit side to side. We don't have to commit to the other side immediately and stay there. Perhaps we're thinking about traveling in that direction and taking the prop with us. Tipping, leaning to that second side. Find the prop to support the jaw, the cheek, landing, breathing, observing. Maybe we're bending that long side knee, and perhaps we're moving the lower leg. Savoring the internal sensations. And perhaps we tuck the toes and drop the right toes, pitching back through that right heel. We might tuck the left toes, wobble, lengthen forward, then point both feet. And let's come all the way down, ground, may come straight down onto the ground. Sliding the hands back alongside the chest, lift the sternum. Chest may rise. And exhale, rolling down. Consider a repeat. The chest may rise. And exhale, releasing down. We may be pressing back into a child's pose, hips moving towards heels. Feel free to grab a prop to support the brow. Feel free to bend the elbows. We might be creeping fingers further forward. We may sway the hips slowly side to side. And perhaps sliding the hands backwards, pressing into the hands. Gradually rising up to our kneeling seat as we stay connected with the breath. So perhaps we're going to come into a toe stretch. That might look like bringing your knees forward onto extra padding. We may tuck our toes under, and we might need to clear the padding out of the way for the toes. And this could be enough. Perhaps we're sitting the hips back. We might want to reach back and untuck the smallest toes. And perhaps we walk the hands up the thighs. That can be really intense, so you're welcome to keep the hands forward. We might need to shift forward, take the weight out of it. We might be pretty comfortable coming back. Just make sure those little toes aren't getting jammed up there. And let's say the toes are really open. Can we bring more stretch into the little toes? So you might need to turn your outer heels each side out a little bit more. Wowza. Sound effects optional to get the fun into those little toes too. Let's start to shift forward, point the feet. Now you may want the bony tops of your feet on that extra padding. And we might be sitting back. We might be sitting further and further back and lifting one knee at a time. You're welcome to lift both knees at the same time if that feels right for you. We might find a little shift or sway side to side. And then gradually bringing those hands forward. And perhaps we come to a mirror person seat. We just slide the bottom off to one side, and you always have options with this. So maybe you want to sit up on some towels, some pillows. Maybe it's comfortable to pinwheel the knees. So let's say that you have your left knee forward, and I am mirroring. So you might have your left knee as the forward and the right knee is the back knee. So let's take that left wrist, give it a little swirl. So we may do a little weight bearing, and if that doesn't work, so you might bring the left hand to the ground, but you could always stack some blocks and lean onto the forearm if you want to stay off the wrist. But we might drop that hand so that we can tip lean towards the left. And we may just take that right hand and find your hip. So this is not going to be a dramatic movement. I'm going to move my hand pretty far. Your hip is not going to move that far. This is just to show you the direction of movement. So this is more about the hip than the hand. But we might think about rolling the hip. But while we're here, you might feel for your sits bone, your butt bone too. It's in there. It might be a little dense, a little fleshy, but it's in there. So we're thinking about rolling the hip. Ooh, the sits bone a bit forward. And then dropping back. So you're going to move at your own pace. Feel free to move that hand closer in or a little further out. So let's inhale, tip towards that left knee, and exhale, dropping the butt bone back towards the ground. Doesn't mean it has to come all the way down. So now we may just adjust our seat so that we can rise up and come off that hand a little bit. You're welcome to put the hand down at any point. So that back leg hand, again, that may be your right hand. You may bring it to the back of the head. And perhaps we wobble up. Feel the head pressing into the hand. Take a few moments to arrive. We might be feeling this through the underarm, through the side ribs. And then gradually rotating towards that front knee And we may find a little rounding in the back. And we may inhale, open it up, and perhaps we even look over towards back leg side. We'll inhale, perhaps back to the middle. Press the hand into the head. We'll call this the side bending cat variation. Got a little rotation, a little twist in there too. We'll inhale up. And exhale towards that back leg. Always moving at your own rhythms. We'll move back towards the center, perhaps with the inhale. And as we exhale, we may roll it down. Let's inhale up, exhale towards that back leg side. And we'll just find center. We'll find center, releasing. How's that shoulder? Maybe we give ourselves a little shoulder roll. So we may swing that back leg around, sitting with the breath. Perhaps we lean forward, send those sits bones back. We might give them a little wobble. We're widening them, shoulders stacking over hips. Soft breath, perhaps sighing, audible, vibratory exhalations. Let's tip on back, slide the legs long, give a little wiggle. So that second side is coming. And again, try not to be an automatic pilot. The side might have very different needs. So maybe we're just stacking the knees. Hello, checking in. Maybe we need to adjust the props, but maybe we're going for that pinwheel position. We might rock a little forward, a little back, getting into those hips a little more. You might want to block or several for the forearm. We may be bringing that hand to the ground. And the other hand, remember, it's just kind of a guide on the hip. So we might be rolling the hand with the hip, sending that back butt cheek sits bone back down to the ground, rolling that hip forward, kind of angling it towards that front thigh, front knee a little bit, and then rolling back down. Feel free to come in a little closer, feeling through the rotation. Doesn't have to necessarily be one breath per movement. You might find, I need to be here for a moment. I've got something interesting going on. Sitting with it. And when you're ready, perhaps proceeding. And we may find our way back up to a seat. Kind of neutral center, still perhaps in this pinwheelish position. And bring that back leg hand to the head. And just take a moment to press the head into the hand. The hand is feeding back into the head. If you need to back it off, if it's a little too much in the shoulder, maybe fold the elbow forward. And then we might think about tenting the fingers or dropping down to the ground and exhaling, creating some rounding. Inhaling, rolling up, and perhaps as we exhale, we rotate towards that back leg side. Finding center with an inhale. Exhale, rounding down. Bringing ourselves back up. And perhaps exhaling towards that back leg. And again, you can sit with it a little longer, but we may just keep moving. So perhaps taking one more and finding your way back to the middle, finding your way back to your seat. And as we find that seat, we may fold the other leg in front or perhaps on top, letting the hands rest wherever they will. Perhaps one palm on top of the other, thumbprints connected. Observing, observing. Breath in the body. Observing the echoes in the body from our movement. We may weave the fingers together and press the hands down, stretching through the hands, through the fingers. And the arms may rise. We may press up through the heel of one hand more than the other, tilting the head opposite. And then trade sides. And you could take this very slowly. You might find you just want to lean into one side, getting into the wrists, the ribs. We might wiggle up, getting longer, and then exhale. Let the arms come all the way down. So as we rock back, send those legs long, and we might, again, hip hike, kind of walking forward on the bottom. You can use the shoulders, you can use the arms, you can use the ribs, but let's take it backwards too. So we might be pulling back, walking backwards, and then just finding a spot where we invite the toes back and invite the little toe sides of the feet back. The little toe sides of the feet might be sickling in a little bit. Draw them back. We might find a little wobble, reaching forward through ball mounds of the big toes. Are you finding you want a little more? Maybe not. We can always back it off. We might rock those sits bones back, and perhaps we take the fingers a little further forward. We might even enjoy grabbing the toes again, sound effects optional. So we'll walk those hands back up and in. And perhaps we come back to hands and knees. So we'll be on the knees. And if you want more cushioning under the knees, go ahead and double it on up. And you might want some blocks for longer arms. And I'm going to show this in a couple of different directions. So let's bring hands forward, long arms, and step the right foot out to the side. So you might turn the toes out, you might heel toe the leg a little longer, a little wider. We might widen the arms and shift to the right. Maybe a lot in the ankle. We might shift back to the middle, walk the arms to the left, and maybe we have the space to heel toe that right foot further out. Now my foot went out of the frame there. Your toes could be pointing forward. You might prefer to have your toes dialing up to the ceiling, what feels right in your body. So we might, again, just bend into that front knee, well, side knee really, and shift back. Maybe we adjust that right foot and start to find some hip circles. And we may heel toe that foot. So we have a bent knee, and we're going to play with this, and you can do what feels right for you. So you have agency to make this work for your body. And I'm spinning my blocks around. If you want to go high, you can shift where they're at. So with a bent knee, how does it feel to curl the sits bones under? So it's like a cat pose. Now we might hold that bit of flexion and find a small movement side to side, a small sway. Now we may then widen the sits bones, which is like a cow arching the back. Perhaps we prefer to take that leg long as we do so. We might prefer to dial the toes up towards the ceiling. These are just possibilities. So we may be heel toeing that leg in, and we might go back to circles. So each side is different. This side for me is feeling a little bit tighter. We might again shift a little side to side. We might find the place where perhaps we round the back. It could be leg extended or knee bent. And then send those sits bones back and wide. We might slide or angle the left foot in towards the right knee and drop back towards our child's pose. We might even slide the arms further forward. Coming back up, let's navigate, bring that right leg in and sit back. You're welcome to sit on your heels. It might be friendlier to put a block under the bottom as we sit back, letting the eyes rest. Take your time. We may weave the fingers together behind the head. So the elbows might be open wide, and we may hook the thumbs under the base of the skull. So we're getting a little bit of scoop, tipping, leaning back. So we're lengthening the neck. We're not letting the head drop back between the shoulder blades. And perhaps we fold the elbows in and gradually, slowly round down. Let's open the elbows back up, gently turn to the right. If you went the other way, that's fine. We'll do both. We'll find the middle, turning to that second side. Let's find the middle, reach the arms back up in the air, get that little wiggle through the ribs, the arms, releasing the hands down. We may place hands on hips. We may roll shoulders back. We may hug the elbows closer to one another. What's the head doing? Do we kind of jut forward? I'm super exaggerating. Slide the throat back. Perhaps weave the hands together. You could use a strap or a towel. We might extend the arms. We may take the chest, the shoulders back towards the right. Perhaps we rebend the elbows as we find the middle. We may re-extend the arms and pivot to that second side. And find the middle. And perhaps roll out the shoulders. And again, we might want blocks under the arms. So second side, I'm going to pivot towards you for this side, but it's the same thing, just a little different viewpoint. So let's navigate your second leg, the one we didn't bring out to the side yet. Bring it out to the side. What's going to work for your toes? You could point them forward, you could angle them, maybe you're turning them way out. We may walk the hands over towards, we'll call it the front foot, front knee. Coming back towards center, we might heel toe or slide the foot depending on the surface you're on. And perhaps we're dialing back onto the heel. Maybe there's a little rock shifting forward and back. And again, this side might be very different. This side's feeling much more open for me. We'll heel toe in and feel free to go back and forth. So again, you have that agency to do what feels best in your body. Maybe we're circling for a bit. Eventually, we might find a spot where we think about cat pose, but instead of it just being the middle of your back, move from those sits bones, curl those sits bones towards one another, forward, chin may move closer to the chest. Maybe we find a little rock while we're here. We might have to adjust the angle of the foot. And then gradually dipping down towards that cow pose. You do not have to change the position of your leg. Maybe you do because it feels really good, like the right thing to do. So there's a widening of the sits bones. Now you can take it back and forth. Perhaps we're sitting back. And they're kind of abruptly on this side. We don't have to come back as abruptly. So this front knee still bent. We might be tipping forward. We may have hands on blocks, the blocks reaching forward. You might want to prop under the ground. So really just take your time when you're feeling ready. We'll heel toe, navigate that second leg back in. And we'll lift the knees and we'll sit ourselves back into that kneeling seat, maybe with a block between the heels. Remember, blocks have more than one setting. You could also double the blocks up, sit up higher. So we may take a moment and notice where those butt bones are. So if the blocks are a little harder, these are harder blocks, it makes it a little easier to feel the sits bones. If you're not sure, you could always slide the palm of your hand face down. Sit on the top of your hand. If you saw it on wooden bleachers, you probably know exactly where it is. And we might just take a moment and tip forward. That's a big rock. Roll it back. Find a spot that feels kind of balanced in the middle, shoulders stacking over hips, sitting with the breath. Light, lofty neck. And from this position you are in, you are welcome, of course, to change your seat. If this is not a sustainable position, you do not have to stay in this kneeling seat. So let's pick a hand, let's say your right hand, and reach it forward like you're stopping traffic. And then take it a little to the right, like you're approaching a twist, stopping traffic. Bring it in, and then stop traffic way off over to the right, and bring it in. So as we're breathing, you're observing. We're going to repeat that in a moment. You're observing how this felt, maybe in your forearm, your wrist, your hand, wherever you happen to feel it. Little different shape this time. This time we'll do the L shape with the thumb and index finger. So press it forward, draw it in, little twist to the right, draw it in, very far to the right, straight out from the shoulder, draw it in. Again, just pausing to feel that impact, that after effect, wherever you happen to feel it. So we'll switch it up, this time kind of a thumbs up. So that right thumb, press out through the thumb, bring it in, little twist, bring it in, far right. And we might just linger there for a moment, turn the thumb in, up. We might turn the thumb down. We may open all the digits and flourish the fingers, doing a single Bollywood arm. And then gathering that arm back in. So second side, press that hand forward, stop traffic. We could even get fancy with the way we draw the fingers in. Press out to the left, fingers in, straight out from the shoulder to the left, draw it in. So L shape, press forward, bring it in, little twist, L, bring it in, straight out from the shoulder, bring it in. And we'll just pause, breathing. The forearm, the wrist, the hand. Time to find an equilibrium. And we'll go for a thumb up. Bring it in, thumb a little twist to the left, straight out from the shoulder, dial the thumb forward, dial it back up, and we might just vacillate between up and forward. Maybe we take it down. The side of pausa might be different. We may open the digits and flourish the fingers, rolling the shoulder back, roll the shoulder forward. Take your time. And eventually bringing the whole arm in, resting. Thumbprints may touch. Breathing into back lungs, back ribs. Let's release the palms face down. This can be a grounding, rooting action. And from there, the body may find some gentle sway like sea oats in the breeze, getting loftier, taller. Wow, and the body may sigh. So you may take a moment, and depending on the position you are in, maybe you're in the kneeling seat, and your mind's eye, you may visualize the path, the route you'll take to come out of the seat you've chosen. So you know your knees best, your hips best, your ankles. Maybe it's just shifting forward, bringing weight onto hands. Maybe we're picking up a block and moving it out to the side and dropping it down. We might drop back to that mer person seat. Maybe we swing the legs forward. So what feels right in your body? So let's have a look around at the props we have available. If you've got a bolster, great, bring it within reach. If not, maybe we have a blanket. And we'll take a moment to roll up. It could be a blanket, towel, or even a yoga mat. So if it's a malleable prop, bolsters aren't usually so malleable, we'll roll it up and we'll place it horizontally across the mat. So we always have options. So I suspect more people have the malleable option, so I'm going to demonstrate that for now. So we'll come down on back body, bringing this roll right on the shoulder blades, and you want your armpits, the hollow of your armpits to be above, and you want your head to rest comfortably. So maybe you need to unroll or put a prop under the head. The arms may open wide. And if this just immediately feels like too much upper back bend, it's too high for now. Go ahead and unroll it a little bit. Let the eyes rest. And if it's comfortable, and we may not know that yet, we might try out sliding each leg long. The legs can go a little wider apart. We may rock on the heels, giving the legs a little rock. And then finding a stillness to the legs. As you inhale, the ribs rise and widen. We may press down through the heels, pulling toes up towards knees, and exhale, soften, sinking everything, heels. Head is heavy. Backs of the shoulders and upper arms are weighty. The belly is light and rising towards the sky with the inhalation. Sinking back down towards the earth, the ground. With each exhalation. Smoothing the brow. Feel the ribs rise and release. Slacken the cheeks. Let the teeth part. Feel the belly lift and lower. The lips may part. We may visualize quarter size knots of tension at the base of the skull, unfurling, uncoiling. The shoulders may get heavier. The backs of the hands supported. Palms light. Hips heavy, sinking. belly unwinding. Breathing a lightness and ease down, down into and around the knees, the inner knees, the outer knees, the backs of the knees. The top of the knee right underneath the kneecap. Where can we let go a little more with the next exhale? Backs of the lower legs heavy, sinking. Fronts of the lower legs, tops of the feet, tips of the toes. Light, rising. Noticing the rise of the belly, the softening, the sinking, the releasing of the belly. Perhaps the breath begins to deepen. Inviting small movements back into the toes. Inviting movement into the fingers. We may bend the elbows and twirl the wrists. Trade direction. We may land the backs of the hands to the ground, slide the little toe side of one foot up and in, roll the knee towards the ceiling. Lift, fan, release the toes, slide the second leg up and in. Lift, fan, release the toes, press into the feet, hover the hips, sway them to one side. Carefully, carefully rolling to rest on your easiest side. Take a moment and use your top hand to shove the prop out from underneath your shoulder. Resting, curled up, side lying. Breathing into the belly. Wow. Let the belly slide towards the ground. Let the cheeks, the lips slide towards the ground. Feel the breath in the side ribs. Planting that top hand to the ground. Pinwheel the knees. Take your time to gradually, slowly walk the hands in, bringing shoulders over hips, head over shoulders. Finding a seat that is comfortable for you. Connecting palms, rubbing hands together. With closed eyelids, you might hover the hands before the closed eyes or cup the hands over the eyes. Deep inhale. Let it go. Ah, rubbing hands together, Bringing the hands to the heart, deep inhale. Releasing. Rubbing hands together, place them over the belly, deep inhale. Let it go. Leaving a hand on the belly, placing a hand over the heart. Sealing our practice with vibrational sound. Deep inhale. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing this practice. Let me know if anyone has any questions. Thank you. Thanks, everyone. Have a nice week. And if you came in later, there is no live class next Monday, the 26th. Have a great evening, everyone. See you next time. Thanks, Grant. Bye.